Thank you, Mr. Allen. I call the meeting of the San Juan Unified School District Board of Education back to order. The meeting is being audio and video recorded, and the recording may capture sounds and images of those attending this meeting. The recording will be posted on the district website. Presenters will via the Zoom platform, and public attendance is provided via the Zoom platform, as well as via live stream on the district's YouTube channel. We thank you for joining us and ask for your patience as we use this format in an effort to maximize access and participation during this time of physical distancing and other restrictions. At this time, please stand for the virtual presentation of the colors by the Casa Roble Fundamental High School, Air Force Junior ROTC High School, and Rio Americano High School. Welcome, and let's begin with Carmen Saguillon from San Juan. And Carmen, please correct me if I've mispronounced your name, and begin when you are ready,
Carmen. Okay, so my name is Carmen Saguillon, and I'm graduating class of 2021 for representing San Juan High School. And before I start, I have my script written on another device. Is it okay if I read it off that?
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever works for you.
I just didn't want to be disrespectful. Okay, so it's kind of intimidating with a lot of the people here, but...
So you're all good, and I'm a little nervous too, but whatever works for you, you're not being disrespectful, and thank you for asking. So get whatever you're ready.
Okay, so I put, change can be difficult for anyone, and I'm sure we can all agree adapting recently has been quite difficult for both staff and students. I personally love school, and I'm graduating the top of my class, and I'm an honorable student. And recently, distance learning has brought me to self-doubt and question myself whether education was the right path for me in the long term. I don't mean to stutter, but I can't imagine what students who struggled in school began to feel when we started distance learning, as well as students who don't get help from home. However, throughout time and However, with time and good leadership, San Juan has made it easier, and I have seen a positive change. The San Juan staff has tried their best to stay connected to their students and encourage school spirit. I'm honored to recognize my school and their outstanding efforts during this time, especially to the teachers who personally reached out and dedicated time in class to help out students who are struggling.
Next, we're at item E2, staff reports, and so we will hear from Superintendent Kern.
Thank you, President Villescaz. I'm going to touch on 3 items, one of which kind of was brought up amongst the students, and then Mr. Shoemake's going to give a quick report about our holiday event that we had as well. First, I wanted to kind of update the community and the board related to the vaccine. This has not been rolled out to educators yet. We expect it to start sometime in February, and when it does, our frontline teachers and others inside classrooms at school sites will be prioritized. We're working to determine if it will be possible to use our own staff to administer the vaccine so that we can speed deployment when it is available. Vaccines will be voluntary and not required. All districts in the county are working together on this initiative in partnership with the County Office of Education and our local health officials. Regarding returning to in-person learning, we're absolutely committed and still planning on returning 2 weeks after the county reaches the red level of the state's risk monitoring system. So far, there is nothing in the governor's recently announced plan that would allow that timeline to be expedited. There are elements of the plan that may allow us to access and expand testing capacity directly as a school district that we are exploring. And then lastly, related to mitigating learning loss, we're working to develop what additional supports can be deployed to support students with a focus kind of on 3 areas. First, our current timeline through the end of this school year, then looking at what we would be able to do during the summertime, and then going beyond that into next school year and into the fall. I have to tell the board and the community, I had an amazing conversation with my Superintendent Students Advisory Committee last week, where I just posed the question about how could we better support you as students around mitigating learning loss, or even supporting review and other areas. And it was just a really robust conversation, and it really energized me to think about what we in this district could do with our partnerships that we have with our organizations, getting really innovative and creative around that. I think we will be able to do that. It is my intent to allow students to keep their devices, both the hotspots and those Chromebooks that we passed out through this summer and hopefully beyond, so that every student in this district has an opportunity to do some form of summer program. Always in the past, it's been maybe, credit recovery or things like that, or trying to get ahead. But what I heard from my student group was there may be a real need for review. So they had some really creative ideas on that. So we will have more to share in the near future, including an item on this agenda, on the February 9th board meeting. So look forward to that coming back to the board in a little less than a month with probably more details. We'll have some more information related to some of the funding that we'll be getting as well. So we're excited about the opportunities that that's going to provide. And Mr. Shoemake, at this time, I'll turn it over to you.
Already.
Thank you. Good evening, President Villasquez, members of the board, Superintendent Kern, and Ms. Cunningham. Tonight, the equity team will present their second equity update for the 2020-2021 school year. The presentation will include a summary of our fall actions and the staff support from our various working groups. We will begin with the Director of Equity, Diana Marshall, and Program Coordinator, Lori Vine, who will summarize the work that occurred this past fall.
Good evening, board members, President Villasquez, and Superintendent Kern. The 8-point commitment provides us with laser-focused clarity on our equity actions as a district. This, in combination with the equity lens and the work around leading for equity, is truly manifesting an equity-minded culture across our district, where policies, procedures, and practices are being changed and improvement plans across sites clearly have equity at the core. So when looking at our fall actions, there was 3 large buckets of actions that took place this year. So first, I want to start by again thanking you for supporting the equity work through your approval of Board Policy 0415. I do believe that this policy provides just another tool for our system that reinforces that diversity, equity, and inclusion are imperative for us to shift to something we do, to something we are. At this time, I would like to introduce Lori Vine, who will share more about the professional learning as well as the integration of the social justice standards. Lori?
Thank you, and good evening. I2, the science textbook adoption for grades TK through 5. Ms. Bassinelli will be presenting this item. Ms. Bassinelli, please begin when you're ready.
Good evening, President Villasquez, members of the board, Superintendent Cunningham. Tonight, we're bringing to you Report 2 of the transitional kindergarten through 5th grade science textbook adoption for your approval. This is an action item, and it was presented to the board for discussion on December 15th, 2020. Myself and staff are available to respond to any questions the board may have.
Thank you, Ms. Bassinelli. Mr. Allen, do we have any public comments specific to item I2 science textbook adoptions for grades TK through 5?
We have not had any comments submitted, nor do we have any hands raised at this time, President Villasquez.
Non-classroom-based program models. We have an annual budget of over $77 million with positive annual fiscal audits and reserves well above the required 3% minimum. And finally, as evidence... Begin when you're ready.
Thank you, and good evening, President Villasquez, members of the board, Superintendent Kern, and Ms. Cunningham. Tonight's facilities item is an action item. It is the public hearing and the conveyance of an easement at Howard Elementary School. The superintendent is recommending that the board call a public hearing in order to solicit public comment and adopt a resolution number 3017 declaring the conveyance of a permanent easement at Howe Avenue Elementary School to the County of Sacramento.
Superintendent Kern, Ms. Cunningham, I'm here tonight to present the side letters of agreement with the San Juan Teachers Association, the San Juan Professional Educators Coalition, the San Juan Supervisors Association, the California School Employees Association, and the Teamsters for a one-time off-schedule payment. These payments were negotiated with each labor group and are supported by the superintendent and his cabinet. Additionally, I'm presenting the proposed 2021-2022 school year calendar, which was developed collaboratively with the San Juan Teachers Association per their contract. And if it's okay with the board, I would like to take a few moments to address some of the correspondence the board has received about the additional $500 stipend for teachers. As you know, I've personally responded to every single email the board or superintendent has received, and I'm working with any and all non-SJTA employees that incurred instructional or clerical related material expenses to explore reimbursement. For members listening tonight, if you need instructional or clerical related materials to do your job, you should be getting those from your
We
worksite.
are now at item I7, Williams Complaint Reports. Ms. Simlick, please begin when you are ready.
Thank you and good evening, President Velasquez, board members, Superintendent Kern, and Ms. Cunningham. As you're well aware, Education Code Section 35186 requires that district staff report to the Board of Education at a regularly scheduled board meeting concerning any Williams-type complaints that have been filed with the district and the resolution of those complaints. I am pleased to report for the quarter October through December 2020, there were no Williams complaints filed with the district.
Thank you, Ms. Simlick. Mr. Allen, do we have any public comments on this item at this time? Sorry to curtail your presentation there a little bit, Ms. Simlick, that was unintentional. Mr. Allen, are there any public comments on this item?
No, President Villescaz, we've not received any comments, nor do we have any hands raised at this time.
And Ms. Pam Costa and Mr. Saul Hernandez, board members. Superintendent Kern and other staff members are also in attendance. And joining me tonight is Dr. Michael McKibben, Board Vice President, Ms. Zima Creason, Board Clerk, and Ms. Pam Costa and Mr. Saul Hernandez, Board members. Superintendent Kern and other staff members are also in attendance. Before we begin, I'd like to review the two methods that are available to submit public comment for tonight's meeting. The first option is to submit a public comment online using
Thank you, President Villescaz, members of the board, Superintendent Kern, Mrs. Cunningham. It gives us great pleasure to introduce to you the 5 classified employees of the winners of the year for San Juan Unified School District in 2021. To get us started, please help me welcome Ms. Karen Smith, President of the California School Employees Association, Chapter 127, to say a few words regarding the Classified Employee of the Year award winners for 2021. Ms. Smith.
Good evening. It's not uncommon for a classified school employee to make a lasting impression on a student or even entire generations of students. Front office staff, school custodians, instructional assistants, nutrition service workers, and all the other classifications interface and support directly countless students every day. Many of these school employees make a lifelong impact on students' lives who they serve. These employees truly go above and beyond the call of duty to serve our students, and their steadfast devotion deserves our appreciation and recognition today. CSEA would like to thank all of our classified employees of the year and all of the nominees too. Thank you very much, and thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Karen, for all you do. And I do believe Mr. Kurt Benefield, who is the Labor Relations Representative for CSEA, is in the audience tonight. And if he is, I just would like to thank him. Thank you for being here, Kurt, and thank you for all you do for our employees. So with that, I'd like to introduce to you our 5 classified employees of the year. Our first winner is Alexander Manicha. Alexander was hired in 2011 and is the head custodian at Cowan Fundamental School, where he was nominated by the school principal, Millie Halpert. Millie says, quote, Alex goes above and beyond in all aspects of his work. He is a skilled craftsman and often gets creative with how to keep our campus organized and orderly. Alex is a self-starter and a natural leader, and it also extends his kindness to our greater community. He takes time to assist our parents, students, and families in need with translations from Ukrainian to English. He praises students and encourages their success. Alex makes our school a better place because of his presence, unquote. Congratulations, Alexander. Our second award winner is Miss Deanne Lacey. Deanna was hired in 2014 and is a clerk at Mary Detterding Elementary. Deanna was nominated by Principal Melanie Allen, who says, quote, Deanna has always gone above and beyond, but this summer she saved me. The most important piece for our community has been her willingness to take on the library checkout system. She met with an ICT from another site and quickly learned how to check out books to kids online. Students come every Monday to pick up the books they have checked out. She pulls them and bags them, unquote. Her calm and smiling demeanor has always helped parents and students in times of crisis and celebration. When parents struggle to log on to Zoom, Deanna patiently talked them through that, sometimes several times with the same family. She always did this with kindness and care. Congratulations, Deanna.
Sorry, it does not conclude item F1 entirely. We have one more recognition, Bella Vista High School and Del Campo High School. Welcome, and we will begin with Sophia Butler from Bella Vista. Sophia, please begin as soon as you're ready.
Good evening, President Velasquez, members of the board, Superintendent Kern, and Ms. Cunningham. My name is Sophia Butler, and I'm the student body president at Bella Vista High School. Thank you for allowing me to share what is going on at Bella Vista. So the mood around going back to school this semester has kind of been tainted with disappointment because a lot of students were looking forward to the possibility of going back on campus in some capacity, but I think we're kind of just realizing it's not going to be as realistic as we hoped. Also, to generalize, a large portion of the student body has been struggling with mental health issues due to the isolation of current circumstances. So our student government class kind of discussed what we think.
I want our students, because I say this when I meet with my student group as well, we are committed to getting students back as soon as it is safe. I have been encouraged a little bit this week by seeing some of the trends. And again, we have agreement. And we will be, if we can get kids back, that we are 100% committed to that. So I want the students to know that we hear you as staff as well, and we desire to have you back. So thank you for sharing your thoughts.
Finale, are you with us? Fantastic.
I am with you.
Good to see you. Please proceed when you're ready.
Good evening, President Velasquez, board members, Superintendent Kern, and Ms. Cunningham. Tonight, I'd like to provide a staff update related to the provision of in-person services through the Bridges Expanded Learning and Intercession Program and the Special Education Department. In an effort to provide more support for targeted student populations, the Bridges After School program has broadened their model to include a 6-hour-a-day expanded learning intercession program at Greer, Star King, and Grand Oaks. This program, focusing on elementary K-8 age students, will open February 8th for in-person services and will prioritize enrollment for McKinney-Vento and foster youth students, as well as additional students as space allows. Within the program, students will be supported in their daily classroom Zoom meetings and assignments and engage in a variety of extracurricular,
members of the board, staff, and community. Before we begin to discuss how Title I funds are allocated, I'd like to provide some information about what the Title I grant is and why it is provided to school districts. Title I stems from the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, signed into law in 1965, and now currently regulated by the Every Student Succeeds Act, or ESSA. The purpose of these federal dollars is to promote equitable academic outcomes for students of low socioeconomic status. There are certain conditions required when a school district accepts this funding. One of those conditions is what we call supplement, not supplant. This means that these funds are not designed to pay for base programs that are the foundation of all schools. Things like required curriculum, a principal, classroom teachers, pencils and facilities.
I'm excited about that. We actually have the opportunity, and we probably will going forward, to do something similar even about our supplemental funding, because when we first rolled that out, we just kind of quickly had to go through the process. But this has been a big lift. There have been amazing conversations going on with our bargaining partners as well as the leadership teams.
The San Juan Teachers Association, San Juan Professional Educators Coalition, the San Juan Supervisors Association, the California School Employees Association, and our Teamsters Local 150, as well as the proposed 2021-2022 school year calendar. I do need to state for the record and for the minutes that this one-time off-schedule payment will not increase employees' base compensation, and no STRS PERS contributions will be taken for PEPRA members. STRS PERS contributions will be taken for Classic members. This is an action item, and at this time, I'm happy to answer any questions if needed.
Thank you, Mr. Shoemake. Before I turn it over to my colleagues, I'm going to check with Mr. Allen to see if we have public comment on this item. Mr. Allen?
President Villasquez, we do not have any hands raised at the moment, and we do not have any comments submitted in writing.
Item J4, Annual Policy Review. Ms. Simlick, please begin when you're ready. There you are. Please begin when you're ready.
Thank you, and good evening, President Vasquez, board members, Superintendent Kern, and Ms. Cunningham. Superintendent Kern is recommending the board discuss and review the following 4 board policies pursuant to Board Bylaw 9311, which requires that they be reviewed annually. One is the 3430, which is investing in debt management, 6145, extracurricular and co-curricular activities, 6020, parent involvement, and 5116.1, intra-district open enrollment. And the recommendation by staff is to revise and update board policies 6020 and 5116.1 based on general needed updates, as well as formatting changes to align to CSBA's new format regarding board policies. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Simlick. Mr. Allen, do we have any public comments on this item?
We do not have any hands raised, nor do we have any written comments submitted for this item.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to turn it to my colleagues. Mr. Hernandez?
No comment, thank you.
Ms. Costa?
Ms. Simlick, thank you so much for answering all of my questions ahead of time. I just would like to say for the record,